our next and last writer, Martha Grover, is working on a memoir about Cushing's disease and the apocalypse. She hopes to finish it before the actual apocalypse. Please welcome Martha Grover.
I'd just like to thank the CCA community, my classmates and the faculty for how supportive they've been to me and all of us for the last 2 years. It's pretty amazing, so I'm blessed. I'm going to read a short chapter out of my memoir about Cushing's disease. So where this takes place is I've already been diagnosed, and I've had numerous tests and blood draws and things like that, and they're basically looking for a tumor in my body, and this chapter is about getting a CT scan or a CAT scan. A week later, I walked down the Epic Imaging Center hallway, a familiar place by now, and into a room with Dan. He sits down opposite me and gives me more water to drink. Dan takes out the clipboard and says he has some questions for me. Now, why are we doing this scan? I let out a long breath. Why is this always the way it is? Why is it up to me to explain this situation? I have Cushing's disease, I say, and take another drink from my paper cup. Dan shakes his head. And what exactly is that? It sounds familiar. It's caused by a tumor. They thought it was on my pituitary, but now they think it's in my abdomen. They're looking for a tumor called a carcinoid. Dan is lucky I know what's going on, I think. What if I had no idea what was wrong with me? Dan writes something down on his sheet. And what are the symptoms? I hate this. I don't want to list my symptoms, to go through the painful and embarrassing laundry list of my maladies. It's like reliving some horrible memory over and over. But apparently Dan has a box to check. Okay, well, there are 81 symptoms in total. I have some of those. I have osteoporosis, weight gain, joint pain, muscle weakening, irregular period, facial hair growth, hair loss, anxiety, depression, easy bruising, incontinence, insomnia, fatigue. Dan writes furiously on his form. Look, I say, why do you have to ask me all this stuff? Why is it up to the patient to give you this information? Dan smiles down and sets down his clipboard. Well, unfortunately, doctors don't always talk to each other. They'll just send us this form and write Cushing's disease. What if I didn't know what was wrong with me? He shrugs. We just try to get as much information as possible. Believe me, sometimes we get patients in here with dementia. They're no help at all. Dan and I laugh. We're both glad we didn't have dementia. I get on the scanning table and stare up at the ceiling. 2 of the light panels have been replaced with a screen with an image of trees on it. Great, I think. I can lie here and pretend I'm lying outside on a sunny autumn day, staring up through the foliage at the blue sky. Although it occurs to me that something is wrong with the picture. It's almost spring, and these trees are red and orange. A more realistic picture would show bare branches and a gray sky. Do you ever change the trees with the season? I ask. No, it's always autumn, Dan says. I suggested we get palm trees once. You know, everyone wants to be in Hawaii. I contemplate this for a while. To me, the autumn foliage is some sort of compromise, if not a veiled message to patients. The leaves have not yet fallen off your tree, but it's certainly not summer anymore. Dan has trouble finding my veins and pokes both arms before finally getting my right arm hooked up to a machine full of iodine dye. You're not allergic to iodine, are you? He asks me. No, I say. I've got a rash. 2 days after my CT scan, the rash hasn't gone away. In fact, it's gotten worse. It wasn't itchy at first, but now the redness has gathered in irritated, blotchy cuffs around my ankles, my upper arms, my belly, and my bikini line, basically everywhere my clothes touch me. I wish I could go to work naked or wrapped in a big sheet. Last night, I woke up twice scratching myself on my chest and arms. To make matters worse, last night the huge produce stand next to my house had a stereo system malfunction. At some point in the early morning hours, the speakers turned on full blast and started blaring Judy Garland, Frank Sinatra, and Louis Prima until 6 a.m. when the morning clerk came in for their shift. For once, I was grateful for the heavy traffic on my street as it slightly drowned out. And the dreams that you dare to dream. I tell my sister this. I'm at breakfast at the diner next to my apartment with my oldest sister, Anna, her husband, Chad, and her 3 children. Anna is giving me a motherly look. She is pursing her lips and furrowing her brow. Chad instinctively takes over managing the kids, finding a high chair and ordering food. I'm hunched over my coffee, my hair is pulled back in a tiny ponytail. I'm exhausted, and now I have this rash all over my face and neck. Anna, being the oldest, has always taken on a nurturing role with her siblings. She babysat me, cooked for me, taught me how to snap my fingers, to whistle. She gave me my first cigarette. Now she starts peppering me with questions. Well, so you don't have a tumor on your pituitary. Then where is it? I don't know. That's why they gave me this CT scan. They're looking for the tumor. Sometimes it's somewhere else in the body, usually in the lung. Then they just have to remove my adrenals. My voice starts to crack. Anna senses this and changes the subject. She tells me I should complain to the produce stand and see if I can get some free food because they kept me up all night. Chad jokes that I should especially complain because they not only kept me up, but that it was crappy music. I laugh a little and then tell them about my dinner last night. I was at my house with a bunch of friends and I noticed the rash around my neck. I ran into the bathroom and looked in the mirror. Yes, it was unmistakable. My skin was blotchy and I was beginning to itch. Alarmed, I could feel my heart rate go up. I stomped back into the living room where my friends were eating grapes off a platter. "Look at my neck," I said and pulled down the collar of my shirt. "It looks like a rash." "I know, and it's spreading all over." "What is it from, Marty?" asked another friend. "It's probably from that CT scan. They injected iodine into my veins." I felt all squirmy and jumpy, as if I moved around enough I could shake the rash off. "Do you think I should go to the doctor?" "It's probably just an allergic reaction. You'll be fine as long as your tongue doesn't start swelling up." Did my tongue feel swollen? I couldn't tell all of a sudden. I felt an itch at the back of my throat. What if my throat swelled up and I stopped breathing? Man, you guys, I really itched. Seriously, do you think I should call someone? My friend put her hand on my shoulder. "Don't worry about it. You're not going to die or anything." I slammed my hand on the table. "Actually, I am dying." Everyone stared at me. "Well, this isn't going to kill you, all right? This rash is just a rash," she said quietly, the way you talk to a crazy person. I laughed sheepishly, suddenly aware that I was overreacting. I'm done telling the story, and Anna and Chad are just staring at me with pained looks on their faces. Anna puts her hand on my shoulder and tells me that this is unlike anything I've ever had to go through before. I nod, almost tearfully grateful for the moment of recognition. As we pay the bill, Anna and Chad tell me to call them if I need anything. I say that I will. Everyone keeps telling me that, but I feel like I don't know what I need until it's too late. I say goodbye and walk the half block to my house. I unlock my apartment door and go to the bathroom. I look in the mirror and see what my sister Anna saw. I look like a crazy person. Red-eyed, blotchy skin, wild hair. Thank you.